Hey you guys, welcome back to another episode of Auto Amateur and another video in the series of Project 996. I am so excited to be diving back into this project to get this 996 project car back on the road. Let's go check it out. So welcome back to Project 996. It is so exciting to be able to say that. I am really looking forward in 2022 to be putting all of my effort and all my attention back on the 996 and getting it on the road. If you've been following the series up to date, we've had about 20 episodes from when this thing first arrived in the middle of 2020. Silver, loved, I guess you could say in some respects, because it had 170,000 miles on the clock. Unloved in some respects because it had a broken transmission, it had hail damage, there were a few issues here and there with the interior, one of the lights was broken, and on and on and on. Now, my friends Patrick and Steve and I, over the course of the last, or at least over the course of 2020, put our Friday afternoons and our weekends into transforming this into a new vision, I guess, if you want to say, a newly restored 996. We painted it, we did the brake calipers, we changed the brakes, we did all the fluids, we put a new transmission on it, we did a whole bunch of stuff and we were really excited. We got it on the road for like 2 days and then unfortunately we suffered the exact same break in the transmission that the original owner had. So for the past year, it's been sitting, gathering dust to one degree or another in the corner of my garage while I switched all my attention to my 991. That 991 mod journey came to an end in late 2001. I made all the enhancements I wanted to make. I drove it to the tail of the dragon twice. I took it to Indianapolis and the Speedway. Did a whole bunch of driving last year. And when I was thinking about which one I wanted to spend more time on, I was gravitating towards the 996. So here we are. Now, nothing too exciting in this episode. I'm going to be just working on the headlights. Steve did a great job of restoring the driver's side headlight last year. This is the original headlight that came with the car. It was all yellow and foggy. The other headlight, the passenger headlight, that's actually a replacement one. We picked it up on eBay because the original light, the lens at the bottom had a bunch of cracks and had been been repaired with glue by one of the previous owners. But that's also a little bit foggy. So in this video, I'm going to be cleaning that up. I've got my sandpaper, I've got some warm water, and essentially I'm just going to be doing some scrubbing. So we're going to get through that, and then there'll be more 996 videos coming up in the near future. The new transmission's on the way. The new engine is also on the way. Porsche in Minneapolis. We're going to be putting the specialists, the experts to work in dropping the existing tranny and engine and then putting the new one in. And then hopefully in the next couple of months, this baby's going to be back on the road. I've got some other mods I want to be doing to it on the interior. We've got to restore the leather of the seats. I've got to do a few other things here and there. Going to be removing the instrument cluster, putting in a matching tack face, either orange to go with the calipers or blue to go with the exterior of the car. Quite a few things in the pipeline, all leading up to May of this year when Jay Reed and I and some friends are going to go and do a tour of the Rocky Mountains, starting in Billings, Montana, down to Denver, over to Grand Junction, Colorado, up to Salt Lake, and then we finish up in Yellowstone Park. And hopefully I'm going to be taking this baby with me on that trip. Otherwise, I'm going to be in the truck and everybody else is going to be driving their Porsches. So let's get into today's job, and that's headlight restoration, and we'll come back and see what it looks like afterwards. So you can see the lens isn't actually too bad, but when you compare it with the other one, you can tell that it's cloudy. It looks like somebody has tried to restore this before. I can just see some of the lines in the plastic. I wonder if they either didn't start coarse enough or they didn't go smooth enough. So I'm going to be starting with 400 grain, which might actually not be coarse enough, but I don't want to go too far. So I'm going to start with 400 and I'm going to go all the way up to 10,000. and I've got maybe 7 or 8 different grades in between. So I've got some warm water first. I'm just gonna use to spray down the surface. And then I'm going to be doing that a couple of times so that I can take away any of the debris that's going to be coming off with the sandpaper. And we'll go from there. So I'm going to do this one in real time first, just to show you sort of what is going to start coming off. And then once you get an idea for what this looks like, what this process looks like, we'll speed up the camera and show you in rapid time how this lens is going to get cleaned up, or at least how I hope it's going to get cleaned up. If I can't do it as well as the other one, then Steve, if you're watching this, mate, I'm going to require your services over here to do a proper job. But already, just with a little bit of brushing, you can start to see that we've got a slightly kind of milky texture, a sort of a milky liquid building up. It's gone from being clear to this milky version, which means that the plastic is coming off with the sandpaper. Okay, so I'm just gonna apply this liberally and just take this off so that you can get an idea as to what the lens is gonna start looking like. Because if you think it's gonna go clear straight away, you're wrong. We're actually going foggier before we go clearer. And that's because of the grain of the sandpaper we've used. So if I'm just gonna take off as much of that debris as I can. And liquid, you'll see that it's now foggier than it was when we started. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep spraying down the light, taking into the grain, spraying grain, all the way up to 10,000 and see what it comes like, see what it comes out as at the end. Okay, so we've gone all the way up to 7,000. I'm now going to be doing 10,000, which I think might be enough, but although I can see some improvement in the lens, it's still a little bit cloudy, and I'm wondering if there are any higher grades here that I should be going up to. I'm also wondering whether starting at 400 was enough, because it's still a little bit cloudy. But let's see. What you might be able to see is that as I'm sanding this, there is still a little bit of milky liquid coming off. Now, you know, I suppose I could keep doing this until all the plastic was gone and I was down to the bulb, and still get that residue. But at least it means that this sandpaper is still taking some of the finish off the lens and hopefully improving it. The other thing a lot of people do is use an orbital sander or other similar power tool to do this. And I've elected not to, because actually Steve did the other headlight by hand, and either he was lucky or he just did a fantastic job, because by hand it looks like a brand new headlight. Now I don't think I'm gonna have the same results. I'll have to confer with Steve and find out if he can remember which grade we went up to. But you know, for a first attempt, I'm quite happy with how this is turning out so far. Just get some more of that residue off. It's looking a lot brighter and clearer than it was half an hour ago. But the OCD man inside me is telling me it's not good enough. Now that I've finished with my 10,000 grain sandpaper, I'm going to be using this compound called Mother's Mag and Aluminum Polish to buff out the lens. It's quite an abrasive product, so you need to use a fair amount and not put too much pressure on with your buffer and your power sander here. I'm just using a regular household drill with a Velcro on buffing pad. Now, what this does is it essentially takes out any other oxidation on the glass, on the lens, that you didn't get out with your sandpaper, and it also creates a more sort of consistent, clear finish across the plastic. It's actually quite amazing just what a difference this makes, even after going through all of the sandpapering that we've done so far. This is going to really nicely finish off the lens. And then after this, I need to put some UV protectant on the lens. I like to use Chemical Guy's Jet Seal, which will last for at least a couple of years, but that's going to stop my lens from going yellow again in the sunlight. Well, that's it for another episode of Auto Amateur Guys and Project 996. I'm really happy with how the headlight turned out. Not perfect by any means, and I might have another go at it, certainly with some of the polish and the finishing compound over the next few days. But it looks tremendous compared to what it did 24 hours ago. So let me know what you think in the comments. Stay tuned. More 996 content coming soon. I'm going to be taking out the seats tomorrow and getting them reupholstered. There's a leather shop in the Twin Cities here that my friend Costas has used for the steering wheel in his 1977 911S. That's going to be really fun. I can't wait to see what the new seats are going to look like. And then also for Project Turbo, I was with Chris today installing the rest of his Soul Performance products. We have the Sports Cats from Soul Performance now connected to his X-Pipe, and that car sounds amazing. I'm really looking forward to that video. So, hope you're staying healthy, getting out and driving. Happy New Year once again, and I'll see you in another video soon. Bye.